This episode needed a 1 minute epilogue at the end. Do better, Marvel. Welcome to the channel, I'm Scotia, and this is my quick review of Marvel's What If Episode 6, What If Killmonger Saved Tony Stark. And just to give you a heads up, there will be spoilers discussed in this episode, as well as previous episodes of What If, and some speculation about what to expect coming up. So I'll give you a quick run through here. Basically, we're starting off with the events of Iron Man 1, but instead it's what if Killmonger shows up and saves Tony. So Killmonger, as you know, is the cousin of Black Panther. In the Black Panther movie, he was the main villain. Quite an interesting arc for that character. He wants to kind of take over Wakanda, become the king and become Black Panther because of what happened to his dad. He wants to help fight for black people across the world. In this one, he's on a special forces assignment. He rescues Tony Stark, and because of this, the kind of premise of the episode is because of this, the Avengers don't come together in the same way because Iron Man doesn't exist. I mean, don't get the scene at the end, obviously, of Endgame with Iron Man saving the day. Instead, it's he doesn't exist in this form. Iron Man doesn't exist in this form. So I really like this premise at the start. I like the idea of saying, what if Iron Man didn't exist? What would be the knock-on effect? Because ultimately he played such a huge part in all the MCU stories up to the end of Phase 4, and of course a huge part in the events of Endgame. So I was really looking forward to see what would be the consequences of Iron Man not existing. So Tony survives because he hasn't gone through that experience. He's relatively unchanged. He's still selfish. He still wants to be a weapons dealer. He has no desire to be a hero, and decides to hire Killmonger as his chief of security. Killmonger reveals that it's actually Obadiah that was behind it all along in terms of the attempted attack on Tony. And so because of this, Killmonger gets made the COO of the company, much to the chagrin of Pepper and Rhodey. And Rhodey here, it's Don Cheadle that's playing him in this part, just to keep it consistent with the rest of the MCU. And really from here, it's about these two bond together, almost being so similar to each other, both orphans essentially, both technical geniuses, but both feeling out of place. We decide to work together to build a drone, so rather than being an Iron Man, it's more of a sort of a mech style, Gundam style anime droid that they build. And they realise they need vibranium, so we go to South Africa. So they decide to go and work with Claw to get the vibranium source that he has. This, of course, invites an attack from Black Panther T'Challa, who gets defeated quite easily by Killmonger, who kind of takes the gloves and makes it look as if Wakanda attacked the US military. And it's a very nice scene that plays out between the funeral for Black Panther and the kind of funeral for War Machine, who's also killed by Killmonger. So Killmonger's in an X position here, he's kind of set himself up. Tony realises he's actually the bad guy and confronts him with his using this drone to confront him, but actually is able to defeat the drone. He's able to kill Tony for anyone finding out what is actually his master plan. A lot of people are suspicious, but they can't prove anything. General Thaddeus Ross comes in and says Stark Enterprise now belongs to the US government. They mass produce all these drones and go out to attack Wakanda. However, before this, Killmonger has killed Claw, much the same as Black Panther movie. He presents him to T'Challa's father, asking to be part of the family, to be welcomed in to defend Wakanda. So Killmonger set up this whole conflict between the United States military using his drones and Wakandans. He convinces them to let him help them out. They work together and defeat the giant mechanical robots. All's well. Earns their trust, saves a lot of people's lives, and ultimately he then becomes the Black Panther. Goes through a ceremony, speaks to T'Challa, who's dead at this point, a little back and forth, and really here you get to see how different they are. Back in the States, Pepper and Black Panther sister Shuri now meet. Shuri here's talking about how they can't trust Killmonger. They both realise they can't trust him, so it kind of sets up what's going to happen next, but actually it kind of abruptly just ends there. and it just goes into the normal sort of post credits there. And yeah, I'd really like to see what would happen in this universe with Killmonger as Black Panther. Let's see what happens with the Avengers and Thanos, and will he be playing a part in the future crossover. The absence felt most in this episode was Robert Downey Jr. His performance of Iron Man was one of a kind, and yeah, the person who was doing the voice acting did a really good job, but it wasn't Downey, and that was really missing from this episode was his style, his panache, just his voice from the character was so iconic as Iron Man. So overall, I thought the episode was good. I really enjoyed the premise. What I was disappointed with was just that it kind of set up this idea at the start, showing the snap from Endgame that we're going to see what happens, throughout the MCU when Tony's not there. But what we get is we just kind of get very much a Killmonger focused story where he's become Black Panther, and it kind of just ends with Pepper and Shuri teaming up almost to work against the new Black Panther and Killmonger. But there's no indication what happens with the Avengers, no indication what happens with Loki attacking the Earth, no indication about Thanos, etc. So there's a lot of unanswered questions for me. So in a sense, it's good that it leaves some questions unanswered, but for me it leaves too many questions unanswered. I would love to know what happens next. It's a positive. I hope we find out either what remains in this season, which is unlikely, or season 2, but I definitely want to find out what's the story here going next, what's the next chapter in this story, because it was really interesting. I definitely feel this is one of the better episodes, but compared to last week's zombie episode and the week before that of the sort of dark, corrupted Strange Supreme, it wasn't as good as them. This is definitely top 3, top 4, but kind of goes down from the kind of previous 2 episodes. Really good premise. It was engaging for the first half. I kind of feel like at points it kind of dragged, and I'd love there to be an extra 1 minute or 2 just showing an epilogue of what happens now that Killmonger's Black Panther, and setting up that conflict more between Killmonger and those who know his secret, and also just show what happens now that the Avengers don't exist. Where's Thanos? Where's Loki? What's happening with them? Because Iron Man doesn't exist in this world. He's dead and he was never created in the first place. For me, we've only got a couple episodes left. I think we've got 3 episodes left of What If. We've seen from the trailers that we've got the kind of what people calling the Party 4 version. You've also got Gamora, who's sort of taking on the role of Thanos, and we also have Ultron, like an infinite number of Ultron sort of fighting with people. So we don't know if that is all for one episode, for multiple episodes, or it's going to be a scene from each of the 3 upcoming episodes. But we've also seen this crossover where we have Strange talking to Thor, we have Strange talking to Captain Carter, and we have the kind of a group shot of him, very much like Avengers Assemble. So I definitely hope at the very least the last episode is dedicated to that crossover event, and hopefully the next 2 kind of build more towards that, but I'm suspecting it'll be more singular episodes for 7 and 8, with 9 being the only crossover. Also, we've seen in one of the mid-season trailers that Pepper and Shuri actually fighting together with what looks to be in Wakanda, but we're not too sure. So it'd be interesting to see if that's a follow-on from this episode, or if this is something else that's going to happen in a different episode with a different version of these characters or not. If we don't get this resolved this season, I really hope we do a follow-up to this in season 2. I think it'd be a good story to kind of really see the results in the follow-through on. So my prediction next week it'll either be Party 4 or Gamora that's Thanos. It could be the same episode, but I actually think I'll keep it distinct. So it'll be 2 episodes like that, and the final crossover episode that bring everyone together, and hopefully I'll really enjoy that episode. I'm really looking forward to it. It's been kind of teased at through the trailers, so I'm really looking forward to seeing the actual results of that in a few weeks' time. If you have enjoyed the video, please leave your thoughts down in the comments. What was your favourite episode of What If? What could have been better? And please do hit the like and subscribe button. It really does help the channel. Thank you, and enjoy. If you like what you've heard and want more, please like and subscribe to the channel. If you didn't like what you heard, I thank you for making it this far.